out of the spotlight for a while, or if they're just going to continue working on a per date type thing with Ring of Honor and New Japan after Final Battle and Wrestle Kingdom are over with.
I also heard Jericho was going to be a part of it too, so I feel like if that's the case, he's got a lot of pull in a lot of places. But, to me, I think Ring of Honor has been very good to the Young Bucks, and I think the Young Bucks have been very good to Ring of Honor. So I maybe it's just me wishful thinking, but I can't picture them leaving Ring of Honor high and dry. I can't picture them. To me, it feels like there has to be something. Sinclair Broadcasting is a very widespread television company. They have, there's got to be something there, and I can't put it together, I should say. I feel like there's some sort of cooperation between the two, but I just don't know how it's all going to work out. And you mentioned something that I wanted to bring up, is that you don't know how they're going to build a roster for AEW, All Elite Wrestling. And I'm here to tell you, in this week's edition of the 5 Count, just how we're going to do it. This week's edition of the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast, 5 Count, 5 time, 5, 5, 5, 5 time. What we are here to tell you is we are going to give you the top 5 talents that need to leave the WWE and go to AEW. What's our reasoning for it? We're going to give you our reasoning, but we're going to tell you the 5 talents that need to go. Joe, why don't you kick us off?
Okay.
I'm ready. Do you want time?
I'm ready. No, I'm ready. I came up with 5 today, so I'll go with. So number 5, I put Mike Bennett, because I think that.
Oh, it's so good. It should have been mine.
He's done a lot of different things in all the promotions. He was in Ring of Honor for a while. He jumped over to Impact and had kind of like I wouldn't say a main event run, but like a top tier level type guy. At least he was treated that way. Came to WWE. Yeah, he came to WWE and didn't really get off to a hot start, and kind of took some time away due to I think he was trying to go through a rehabilitation for a drug addiction. His wife had a child, and now he's on 205 Live. It looks like he's in good shape. He's on 205 Live, but is that really where? When I watched Mike Bennett when he was in Ring of Honor, I didn't see him as a cruiserweight. He doesn't seem like that kind of guy to me. I think he's a heavyweight or main level guy, and he can be successful with his act. So I think for him, he would be a good candidate for somebody to leave and maybe get a fresher start with a potential new promotion like AEW.
Yep, I couldn't agree with you more. He's not on my list because I just completely forgot about it. But as far as him being in shape, the dude is dedicated. The dude is in the best shape of his entire life. But then you get, I don't want to go off on a tangent, but you have a guy like Buddy Murphy, who I never expected to be like a cruiserweight guy either, and he's flourishing. So, I'd love to see Mike Bennett. That's such a great call. In no particular order, number 5 for me, it's going to be the Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson. They're just being shit on in WWE. When was the last time you saw him wrestle?
It's been a while. I will say that. And
it's been a while. Anderson's in the best shape of his life. He's got like Mike Bennett syndrome, where all of a sudden he's got a 27 pack and he's doing a Good Brother keto. But these guys, man, they're a great tag team. They've been IWGP Heavyweight Tag Champions. They were Ring of Honor Tag Champions, I believe. They deserve better, and there's plenty of room for them in AEW. So for me, it's got to be the Good Brothers at 5.
All right. Number 4 for me, I had them on my list as well, so I'll throw them in here now for all the reasons that you mentioned. I think that if you're going to take guys, I know the whole Bullet Club thing is kind of in flux. Like these elite guys are now saying they're not part of Bullet Club anymore, but I think that Gallows and Anderson are valuable wrestlers. They're entertaining. They have a following, and I think that they're just being wasted. There's just not much that's being done with them in WWE. They're more comedy right now, and I think that putting them in a spot like this, would be good for them. So I had them on my list as well. So I'll put them at number 4.
Yeah, their comedy act. Go watch their match with the Briscoes at World of Worlds 2014. Just a waste. Plus, Carl Anderson's machine gun noise when he does it's so good. Everything he do is so good. Number 4 for me, I'm gonna go with Finn Balor. Finn Balor, I mean, they're pressing the stop and start button with him far too much. He's not being taken seriously. Now it looks like he's going to be something. He's got the feud going now with
Drew McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre, the whole authority thing. But, up until this last 2 weeks, he was doing mixed match challenge with Bayley, and that was a highlight of his career. Finn Balor, despite his boyish good looks and his young good looks, the guy's almost 40. I think he's like 37, 38 years old. He's
about that.
What's that?
Tight.
Trust me, I look older than Finn Balor does, and he's 5 years younger than me. But Finn Balor, for him, I feel like the time is now. He could easily carry a company on his back. So for me, number 4 is going to be Finn Balor.
Number 3 for me, I'm going to go a little bit off, not off the grid necessarily, but a little bit different of a tact. And this might just be because it annoys me more that he's not being used, and he should be. And that's Andrade Cien Almas. So he came in from Mexico, kind of got off to a slow start in NXT. Turned him heel, put him with Zelina Vega, had a super hot act, was the champion down there, was having great matches with guys like Gargano, Aleister Black, amongst others. And comes up to the main roster with SmackDown with like some fanfare. And I couldn't tell you the only things I've seen him do on SmackDown, and I admit I don't watch SmackDown every week, was he was in a mixed tag team feud with Rusev and Lana. And he did a couple of jobs to like AJ Styles where he had some good matches and beat maybe a few jobbers. They have not given him a legitimate feud, at least maybe put like the U.S. title around him or something like that. They haven't done anything like that. It's a criminal waste for a guy like that, who also, I know like WWE likes to have guys with like a Latin, like appeal, like a Rey Mysterio, those types of guys. And I just feel like Almas is a young guy with a lot of talent. He's got a good manager with Zelina Vega, and they just don't use him at all. And I think if he left and went to a different promotion and he'd be able to put on like 15, 20-minute matches all the time, he would be, a really, really big star and have a really big following. So, and I just think he's being wasted a lot. So number 3 for me, I have as Andrade Cien Almas.
Strap the Rock to the guy wherever he goes. Imagine putting him in a 25-minute match with like Jay Lethal. He just tear the house down. And every time he got the opportunity to do so, he tore the house down. So that's a good one. I like that idea. Number 3, a little bit different here. I'm going to go Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn, he can do it all in the ring. He was kind of taking a back seat to Kevin Owens. He's someone they kind of just, to use a famous term, he toiled in mid-card obscurity. And he has the type of personality where he's funny. I think they tried to overexpose him on the mic, and they didn't let him do as much as he can in the ring. But I'll tell you this, AEW comes first event, lights go out, El Generico pops up, the roof blows off and goes into a different stratosphere. I would love to see a guy like Sami Zayn get a chance to shine, and same kind of deal with Almas. He's give him 15, 20 minutes. He could talk decently, but he'll put on one hell of a match. So for me, number 3 is Sami Zayn.
Yeah, I had Zayn on my list too, so I'll put him here as number 2 on the list for all the same reasons that you mentioned. I think he was kind of a little bit overshadowed with Owens. They fought I don't know how many times on the main roster. They finally put them together, and then it kind of turned into a comedy act. And that's not really what those guys should be about. He's a very, very talented wrestler. He wrestled as El Generico, right, with a mask. He didn't really talk. He didn't need to talk. So I think that. I don't know exactly how old he is. I'd have to look that up. I'm sure he's probably in like his early 30s or something like that. He still has probably a lot of good years in him to wrestle. And I don't think he's really going to, break much past the level that he's at now.
And just turned 34.
Just turned 34. Okay. So I don't think he's going to break much past the level he's at now. He's not going to be a world champion. And I just think it would be really cool to see him back as, El Generico or something like that on, in a promotion with these guys where he can be free to do, like you said, with Almas, have just these 15, 20, 25-minute matches with guys because he can work and he's really great in the ring. So number 2, I'll go with Sami Zayn.
And he can get over, he got over El Generico by not saying a word. And there are certain people that are able to do that. So I got work texting me. It's 8:49 at night. I got work texting me. What? I don't get paid for this. So we got 2 left. Number 2, the Revival. The Revival they put on tag team match of the year like 2 years in a row, and they had their matches with the Gargano and Ciampa. Who else do they have classics with off the top of your head?
American Alpha, I think.
Thank you,
was
American
the
Alpha.
first set. Yeah.
Yeah. They had an old school style, but they had like some new school flair. They're fantastic, as a tag team. They were both saddled with just really terrible gimmicks and stuff like that. But to me, those two guys, watching them week in and week out, job to the Lucha House Party in 3-on-2 matches, made to look just stupid, lost all credibility. They're two tough guys that can work and that can beat your ass and look legitimate doing so. The Revival, you put them in a program with the Young Bucks. After I think I was in a group chat with you when I mentioned I'd love to see them go to AEW, and then literally like 6 hours later, Matt Jackson and Dash are tweeting each other. So to me, the Revival criminally used right now on the main roster.
Yeah, they were the other team on my list. So I'll echo everything that you said, and yeah, it's just kind of like, and I don't know if it's the whole tag division. I feel like they were close to getting the tag titles, and then McIntyre and Ziggler kind of came over and like kind of took that spot away when the B team was the champions. And they took the titles, and then they kind of went in a different direction, and now it's on Authors of Pain. And it's just they never really got their run. And I think now they're just like, they just feel damaged to me. And I'm not sure if it's
they're like, how do you bring them back?
Yeah, and I don't know if it's because of like, they had a couple of start and stop pushes where, I don't remember who got hurt first, but like they were going to push them, and then like Dawson got hurt, and then they got to push him again, and then Wilder got hurt, or vice versa. And then I'm not sure if that's something where like Vince or the company loses faith in them, and they don't want to significantly push them. But I mean, they don't really treat the tag titles on Raw as anything serious, as per AOP's gimmick is now their manager, who's Drake Maverick, peeing on things. So
on Bobby Roode.
Yeah. So I don't think that they really take those tag titles very seriously. I mean, they did for like a couple of weeks when McIntyre and Ziggler had it, and then they put it onto the Shield, and then they broke up right away, and then whatever. Like, so there's just no there's just, those guys are criminally underutilized, and they need to probably get out of there and go somewhere else. And why not go to a spot where you can wrestle some of the better tag teams in the world, like the Young Bucks and SCU and Super Smash Brothers, or whoever else it is they can get to show up down there. So that's Revival, the last item, or the last individuals on my list. So I'm interested to hear your number one.
The phenomenal one, Joe. AJ Styles. I'm going to tell you why. The guy's 40 years old. He doesn't want to work a full-time schedule. Totally get that. AJ Styles walks into AEW. He is your champion. He is the face that runs the place, not on Tuesday Night SmackDown, on Tuesday Night Dynamite. I think that's the name of the show. Dynamite Tuesdays or something like that. AJ Styles brings immediate credibility. He brings a name value. He brings a schedule that he doesn't have to be on the road 305 days a year, because I know he's a family guy. And he brings a connectivity to the Young Bucks. And AJ Styles is the piece that'll bring together the Impact crowd, the New Japan crowd, the Ring of Honor, and everybody all into one. AJ Styles is the guy that needs to be in AEW. And you put a show, you make whatever they want to call it. Is it All In? You want to make All In your WrestleMania? That's fine. You headline All In with Kenny Omega versus AJ Styles, and you do bank money. That's my prediction.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, that would be excellent. I think just to see something like that happen. I mean, I guess like just to overall, I don't know, tie a bow on the whole All Elite Wrestling thing. Like, we talk about what kind of impact it'll have on the business, right? No pun intended. We talked about what'll happen with Ring of Honor if those guys leave. And I think like just talking about guys that can leave WWE. I mean, are they gonna go head to head and challenge WWE's competitor? Probably not. That's not probably what their goal is. But could they take talent away? Guys who don't want to be in WWE anymore, like a guy like Neville who just decided to leave because he was frustrated. Does it give people an alternative of places to go? Especially if they end up with some sort of television deal or something like that, get some eyes on the product and maybe some eyes away from WWE for a certain, niche, set of fans. They can do all those things. And, where the Bucks are the most popular and probably have been the most popular independent wrestlers for several years. So wherever they go, there's people that are going to follow them. There's a lot of folks that watch and follow the Being the Elite YouTube series. So there's, and they sold out a 10,000 seat arena in Chicago with basically no matches promoted, and